All right, our last award tonight, our last inductee, I've had the pleasure of sitting next to you tonight at dinner. I'm a baseball fanatic. Baseball is a numbers sport. 714 was a number that we all grew up with. All you had to do was say it, you knew what you were talking about. Even if you weren't a baseball fan, it's just iconic in the legacy of American culture. And then shortly after that, 61 became a number that was so associated with Major League Baseball. It's phenomenal. And the fact that Roger Maris is of Croatian heritage filled me with so much pride when I found out, because he was not just a remarkable member of the New York Yankees, he also went on to help the Cardinals into the World Series. He was a phenomenal player when he went over to St. Louis. Truly one of the best all-around baseball players of his generation. His son is here to accept his award tonight and to introduce Kevin. Let's welcome back Steve.
Well, I hate to keep talking about Croatians from Iron Range of Minnesota, but Roger was born in Hibbing, but I have to just tell one story. My dad was so proud of Roger Maris, and I was writing a story on Roger Maris in the 90s. My dad had told me some stories about Roger's mother living in Virginia and on the range. And he said, yeah, she babysat my family, the Rukavina kids, the summer of 1930. And Kevin shared a picture of his beautiful grandmother, Corrine Perkovic. And all of Roger's grandparents were Croatian. And the summer of 1930, Annie Srdich from Virginia, Minnesota, and her best friend, Corrine Perkovic, looked after the 5 Rukavina kids who were from ages 4 to 11. My grandmother died in 1926. My dad was only 4 years old. And so Thomas Rukavina wanted a couple 18-year-old mature women to kind of show it. Katie Rukavina, who was 11, dropped out of school within the next year to become the mother of my dad's family. But the summer of 1930, Kevin's grandmother, Corrine Perkovic, over 3 months helped share a little etiquette and take care of the Rukavina kids. But that's the Iron Range of Minnesota. But a man who needs no introduction, Kevin Maris, as Jerome mentioned, is here to represent the Maris family. And I think we're all so proud that, and hasn't it been great that this whole month of September and early October, so much national media was focused on this incredible athlete, Roger Maris, who hit 61 home runs, and as Vedran kept reminding us a year ago and 6 months ago, October 1st of this year is the 61st anniversary of the 61st home run that Roger Maris hit. And we have to do our induction ceremony this October of 2022. And here we are, 61 years after Kevin's father hit that historic 61st home run. Mickey Mantle called that the greatest sports accomplishment of his lifetime. Kevin, please come up here and share a few thoughts about your father, Roger Maris.
Thank you. It's a really small world at the end of the day. You know, to hear that story, I never heard that story, and when you talked to me about it, it's pretty neat to hear that about my grandmother back when she was in her teens, I guess. And not only, Cleveland, I know you guys are playing the Yankees, and that's a good thing. It's a good series going on. But, if it wasn't for Cleveland, Dad wouldn't maybe hit 61 home runs, because it was Cleveland that signed him as a young man out of Fargo, North Dakota. So there's a nice connection with Cleveland here that is, coming back to Cleveland. And, my sister was born here. Dad played here for a year and a half. And to get a chance to come up here and represent him, I'd like to thank the National Federation of Croatian Americans Cultural Foundation for putting this on. This beautiful function, and, happy to be part of it. First of all, I'd like to thank the people responsible for putting together the Croatian Sports Hall of Fame. What a wonderful idea to be able to recognize the nationality of such great Americans who have Croatian descent. That doesn't happen too often. And, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting my dad. and recognizing the great American pastime of baseball. You know, Dad broke Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs back that he said in 1927, and Dad broke it in 1961, 61 years ago today, with 61 home runs, which was just a magical season for him in the Yankees that year. He went on to win the World Series that year. You know, his record is 61. You know, until a couple weeks ago, you know, stood for a long time, but is surpassed by Aaron Judge, which Aaron plays for the New York Yankees, and it's I think he's a good representation of baseball right now. The way he handles himself, you know, before and after games, during games, the way he represents, you know, running the bases. He does things the way, you know, it's just refreshing to see. You know, Dad used to do that. There's a lot of similarities that Dad had, or that Aaron chose that Dad had. And, you know, it's always bittersweet to see a record broken, but I think he'll carry the torch well and represent the home run record real well. So, but let's see. To this day, you know, I still believe what he did in '61 is probably one of the greatest feats in baseball. You know, especially at the time when he broke it. You know, he's facing the icon of the game. You know, Babe Ruth was, you know, nobody wanted him to do it at all, and for him to go through those stages of, you know, he had all kinds of death threats and stuff throughout his career or that season. And for him to overcome that type of stuff, you know, it was nice to see Aaron Judge get the response that he got. You know, he didn't have that type of turmoil that he had to deal with. And, you know, we wouldn't want to wish that on any athlete at the end of the day. Because it's hard enough, you know, achieving such a goal of what Aaron did today, or this week, or this past week. And, but we're happy that, you know, he's going to carry the torch and further his career. And Dad, getting back to Dad, you know, passed away in 1985. He had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and his legacy will live on not only, you know, in the sport of baseball. You know, there's a second legacy that he's leaving in North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota is where he was raised and born. Well, actually, he was born in Hibbing and raised in Fargo, North Dakota. But Fargo's kind of taken him under his wing and always considered him, you know, theirs. And he's got a big Roger Maris Cancer Center up there that Sanford Health has joined up with the Roger Maris Cancer Center to make it just a spectacular thing for the Midwest, northern Midwest, where, you know, people from all over the country are starting to go there. They have just phenomenal treatments that they're doing and saving lives and improving lives in that area. So people don't have to travel to Texas. People don't have to travel to New York. So, you know, we couldn't be more proud of that. And then, let's see. You know, it's really a privilege to be here tonight. You know, Steve called me and, you know, asked me about it, and I couldn't be more proud to come up here and, you know, to be recognized by your fellow Croatians. I know Dad would be very honored and pleased to be a part of. And you know, I'd like to thank you for inducting Roger Maris, you know, alongside all these other exceptional athletes that were recognized tonight. And you know, thank you very much.
I'm counting another baseball coach. has helped coach the Croatian national baseball team and maybe called to Europe next summer to do that again. And we hope to get Kevin over to Croatia to help train some aspiring and up-and-coming Croatian in Croatia, the Republic